It's time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing, episode number 44. We're recording this live and way too early. In fact, we should have called this like Good Morning Location-Based Marketing or something
Absolutely.
like that. But it is September 25th. That's a Sunday morning. And my name, Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, as always. And joined today from Toronto, not San Francisco, or not anywhere else in the world, but from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Mr. Asif Khan. Good to have you back.
Yeah, from the Location-Based Marketing Association. And we both have our coffee because it's bright and early in the morning here.
Little branding opportunity.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes. Yeah, it is a... we're doing this because Asif is jetting off later on today to head off to Amsterdam. A bunch of events going on, obviously, at while you're over there. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so if you're in Europe at all and you watch this show and you can get out, we have an event, the LBMA that is, has an event on Tuesday evening focused on the retail community, and we've got a great keynote presentation, research on the Dutch LBM market from Clarion, keynote from Accenture, and a panel that includes Heineken, Choreo, Scotch and Soda on the retail side. So it's going to be a great event. So that's Tuesday evening in Amsterdam. And then on Thursday, we move over to London, and we do the same thing with a different set of people. So keynote presentation from O2, research on the market as well from us, and Tesco and Dixon Stores and a bunch of others involved in the panel discussion. So should be a lot of fun. So if you can make either of those, Tuesday Amsterdam, Thursday London, hope to see you there.
It sounds so cosmopolitan, Asif. I'm gonna be in Cornwall, Ontario, and you know, Nepean. It doesn't quite have the ring as
whatever. Hey, you're flying to San Francisco this afternoon as well. So
I am, and that's part of the reason as well. I am. So get out to Europe, and if you can't, it's worth the trip, right? Just to swing by. I'm going to. I'm heading off this afternoon, and if you are in San Francisco and you do watch the show, I'd love to connect. I'm going to be at GigaOm's Mobilize conference on Monday and Tuesday. And then I'm going to be at Mobile Recruiting Camp on Thursday night and Friday, both in San Francisco. And I plan on meeting as many people as I can who I have interviewed down there. And if you are down there, please reach out. Just DM me at Rob Woodbridge, or send me a note at untether@gmail.com, and let's connect while we're there. Come on.
Right.
I'm there. Whole week.
Yeah. And just before we get started, you know, Rob and I were talking before, and I just want to say to everybody out there, you know, we love the comments, we love the input into the show, suggestions of things to cover, you know, and we even love the criticism, but we especially love the swag. And I want to thank the guys over at Wajam. In Montreal. We covered these guys a few weeks ago, and I guess they loved the blog post we did, because I got a very complimentary note on email, followed up by a care package that included this lovely shirt.
Wajam.
You know, pens and sticky pads. But what I appreciate the most was the sticky pad they sent me had a very personal note that said, "Your blog post made us blush. Thanks." And it's signed by every employee of the company, including their amazing CEO, who's Martin-Luc Archambault. And these guys are doing some great things. If you haven't looked at them yet, check them out. They're all about adding location to search engines, you know, and helping, you know, contextualize some of the stuff that comes back. So check it out.
Well, and we talked about this, is that companies that do this type of thing, that take a little bit of extra care, you know, the shirt's great. You know, and the pins and everything like that, but to do a little personalized note like that to me really does push it over the top, and more companies have to do this. Every once in a while, it's always great to get a letter, a handwritten letter or something like that in the mail. Man,
for sure,
I love that stuff.
For sure. Well, I was at a conference this week in Toronto when I got back at the CMA's Direct Marketing Conference. I was speaking there. And one of the other speakers at the end of his presentation made a couple of predictions. These are his own predictions. And he said that you know, in the the Gen X and Gen Y populations, he expects, his prediction is that we're going to see the return of snail mail. And because of exactly that, like, you know, these people have no idea what, what it's like to get something in the mail and have like a real personal note or card or whatever. And anyways, it was funny.
Mail's got a bad rap, especially around the in the digital world, because it's basically the bill deliverer, right?
Yeah.
Because what else do you get? Right? Nothing.
Not a lot.
And I hope we go back to the whole Puritan stage, because my kids
unless you're getting sued, then you get that in the mail too.
You do, yeah, exactly. It's never good, but I hope we go back to the Puritan environment, because my kids are 5, you know, and what I'd love to see is back to that homely kind of, I don't know, really, really, really thoughtful kids that grow up into thoughtful adults that don't go to raves. How's that? My wishing. I'm dreaming here, right? And especially when you talk about location-based marketing, because then you don't need anything but a cell phone or a smartphone to actually find out where the raves are. So we are promoting the disruption and destruction of our youth by... we should just start this podcast.
All right,
let's get into this. So big week, certainly a lot of news. We're going to cover the top 5 items that we think that are the most relevant for the past week, and what these mean to you. And there's some great news. We got obviously the top 5 stories. We got some funding, some big funding stories, as well as our product of the week, and some more research from Pew. So let's get things started. Reservation Genie. Yes. Teaming up with Foursquare. That's the first story, and I think this is interesting.
Actually, not so much teaming up with Foursquare, but trying to be like Foursquare.
Okay,
and so Reservation Genie is a great company. They're the kind of the other major player out there that competes with OpenTable, and so the big news here is that they've seen what Foursquare has been doing, and Goala and all these guys, and they see the gamification elements, and they said, look, we need to add something like this to drive, usage and traffic, and incent people to, to make reservations on, online through the system more. And so, Reservation Genie's there. What I really like about this is that, unlike OpenTable, who charges, cover fees, or Groupon, who obviously takes a big piece of the deal, they're not charging anything like that at all. They don't have a fee structure there. What they've said is look, this is a new VIP reward system, and the more you use it, the more reservations you make, the more points you get, and those points can be converted into goods. So kind of like level up in a sense that spend something, get something, as opposed to we're going to discount everything, a la Groupon.
Loyalty is important here.
I think this is a fantastic play. We don't need to get into all the details, but take a look at it if you're in the restaurant business. I just came from speaking at the Fast Casual Universe, food service conference out on the West Coast, and this is exactly the kind of thing that some of those restaurant owners are looking for right now.
Well, boys, it's a challenge, right? Because there's so many restaurants and so many. I mean, I'm in Ottawa, and I think there's a restaurant per person per population, right? There's 1 million people in the city, and I think there's probably 1 million restaurants. So, and the margins are so thin for restaurants who are suffering, except for in pop, right, and booze. But what I do like about this is the loyalty factor. Is that it's not just about a one hit, one out. It's not a one night stand, right? Like the whole idea is that you benefit for however many times you actually come back to the restaurant, and because they've got the VIP perks and all those kind of things. But I just any application like this or company that helps get people into the door a second time, big fan. So
I mean, they picked up on the key elements. So there's a gamification piece to this. There's a rewards piece to this. There's a local leaderboard piece to this, which kind of drives, competition. There's a social magnification piece because, you get, I think it's 50 points for making a reservation on the system, but you also get an additional 10 points for every other person that, you're bringing to, to the restaurant as well. Like that's part of your reservation. So if you're a party of 5, you get, 50 plus, 4 times 10. So, you walk out of there with 90 points kind of thing. So and then those points accumulate, and you can actually use these things. So I like it. They kind of waited. They saw what was going on over the last year and kind of picked the best elements and put it together. So I like this one.
Well, and that's yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of anything like this, and that's why we like Level Up much more than a Groupon type of technology. So it just seems like Reservation Genie is getting it. I mean, is OpenTable doing this kind of stuff as well, or are they touching on it? My guess
I haven't seen this from OpenTable. So I suspect they'll react and they'll do something. I also one of the things, just while we're on this topic of restaurants and this kind of deal, when I was at that conference last week, the food service conference, one of the speakers was from Living Social, and they were talking about a new product that they're going to be announcing soon called Gourmet, which again is targeted at this segment in particular. So we'll see where that goes, and hopefully we'll have something to say about that in a few weeks.
Well, you know what? I just you mentioned Forecast a couple of weeks ago. We used them as a product of the week. I interviewed them. The interview should be up in the next week or so on Untether.tv. But I interviewed them, and I think a good combination of what Reservation Genie is doing and Forecast would be the perfect combination, right? Loyalty, and then if I'm an influencer and I bring 5 friends or 10 friends, reward me for bringing them in, and then continuously reward me by giving me points and making it a game. So that's Reservation Genie. I like this. I like this concept. I think it's been a long time coming, but I guess they didn't want to run into it. And I'm very glad that they steered away from the the coupon incentive. At least in this instance.
And there could be, just thinking out loud, like the Foursquare combination, there could also be an interesting combination with the new Gowalla in terms of tying this to travel experiences potentially. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, Josh, if you're listening, talk to these guys.
Yeah, Josh, if you're listening, to talk to somebody like a therapist. Try to figure out what you are. Although I'm just going to take this. I did download the latest Gowalla, and it's a beautifully rich app.
They always are. I mean, the design on Gowalla is like always, the best out there.
Well, I think their biggest challenge now, and I'm going to say this, is the fact that if you're roaming, the last thing you want to do is download all that rich data, right? Like if you're out of the country and you're traveling, in country's fine, but if you're out of the country and you're traveling, like me in San Francisco, it's useless. It's useless because I'm getting charged like $80 to download this piece of anyways, curated material. They're trying. All right. Yeah. Reservation Genie, Foursquare-like features. We like it. Thumbs up. Second story, which is great. This is a technology story which fits right into your boat, which is Blackberry or RIM opening up Wi-Fi based location-based service detection, which is great.
Yeah, so I mean, up until now, BlackBerry's relied, like a lot of devices, on using GPS or cell tower triangulation to determine location, and those are very effective methods of doing that. But Wi-Fi is increasingly available in a lot of places, and a lot of the solution providers that we've talked about in terms of indoor location platforms that are going inside of shopping malls and stores and retail environments and restaurants all over the place. Yep. You now have Wi-Fi. McDonald's, Starbucks, all these places have Wi-Fi. So it just makes sense that they enable these devices to determine location based on Wi-Fi. The advantage here is that Wi-Fi, fixing location from Wi-Fi actually is a lot faster than fixing location from GPS. So if it's about speed and connectivity to a platform like Foursquare or what have you, in terms of finding the point that you're at and bringing up a list of locations or whatever it is, Wi-Fi is going to be quicker. It's not necessarily as accurate in the sense that knowing your exact position. I mean, there's ways to do that, down to certain number of feet or things like that. But this is great. This is a good move by the BlackBerry guys, by RIM, and hopefully it helps position them as a player. I mean, they're struggling. They need everything they can get.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why on the iPhone it feels so fast when you connect. I've got GPS software, obviously. Navigon software on my iPhone, and the reason it feels so fast is because it does that. It does a bunch of things, but it's the interface or the usability that really keys it in. Yeah. It's the fact that, I mean, Apple not only goes out for GPS, but it also does tower triangulation and Wi-Fi triangulation, and then it stores local nodes on your iPhone, right. And that's where they got into trouble. They just didn't encrypt that before. But if
So
BlackBerry does that, because I remember using a BlackBerry, and I mean, I would wait. I'd have to put it on the dash of my car and drive 30 kilometers before it actually picked up a GPS signal. So anything that they can do to speed that process up, man, I'm all for that. Especially in cities, dense cities like New York.
right. And this isn't something that they announced and said it was coming. It's there now. If you have a new BlackBerry running OS 6, the OS 6 already takes advantage of this capability. So it's there.
I like it. It makes me wonder. I mean, I think I brought this example up a bunch of episodes ago, but now I'm starting to repeat myself. So we've been doing this for a long time. But when the American government actually killed Pablo Escobar, they did it by cellular triangulation, right? They did cell tower triangulation on an 8-second call, and this was 15, 12 years ago. So
right.
Imagine now the technology that they have. They descended on Pablo Escobar in a moment because of cellular triangulation. Now with Wi-Fi and GPS and all these kind of things, it's like nobody's safe, not even you, Pablo. All right, sorry, little.
It's all good. No.
What's that?
I said that it's all good. This is I mean,
all right.
We can find anybody anywhere,
and that's good and bad.
It's all about the machine. Did you see that new show, Person of Interest? No.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the machine. Nice. Who's got time to watch TV? Come on.
Anyways.
Third story here is about a company called MobileFringe, Toronto-based company, right?
Yeah.
MobileFringe doing two things, Retailigence partnership and launching Push a Deal. Let's talk about these things.
Yeah, so the push a deal thing, nothing really unique here, I'm going to say. I mean, basically, they're using GPS. They're working with retailers like everybody else. And, they're kind of playing the geofencing concept and saying, look, from a consumer perspective, we're not just going to push you deals anywhere, everywhere. We're going to push you deals that you want when you're inside of a geofence. And, we now have the capability to do that. It's called Push a Deal. These guys are a Canadian player. They announced a relationship that's going on now with a company called Aramark, which is the one of the big university campus kind of food court.
They're massive
players.
Yeah, big.
They also, I
campus
think, they
anywhere.
do some hospital food courts and things like that. So they're big in that kind of environment. And so that's their kind of initial test ground to kind of go out and see, what can they push, to the students while they're on campus.
Love it. So they're pushing cafeteria food to begin with.
Cafeteria food, Starbucks, yeah,
and deal conscious, deal aware or deal conscious people like students, right? It's a good mark.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. If I was these guys, though, I would much rather be doing, the Sally Mae, what did we call that thing? U deals or something.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Because it turns into rewards that convert into tuition and, actual real benefits for the students.
And I think it's a stickiness factor, right? So a lot of these guys who are doing. And it's not about MobileFringe. It's not about Push a Deal. But it's in general. It's transient. It's like you get your deal and you're on, and then the next day another deal company comes up and you get another deal from a different company that has nothing to do with MobileFringe, and then all of a sudden there's no brand loyalty to these coupon companies or geofencing companies. So you're right. I agree. Do something that actually not forces you, but you're committed to it, to use it every day or every time. That is your deal company, right?
Yeah. Sorry, that product I was referring to, it's called You Promise.
Yeah.
It's Sally Mae in the U.S. You Promise. Same kind of concept. All restaurants, retail services related to university campuses, and they have this kind of rewards program that the students, as they use it, as they buy stuff from these vendors on campus and around campus, they get rewards which convert into money for college. So
yeah, but that makes so much more sense, right? Yeah. Especially if they're targeting that group, the students. So they did Push a Deal, and I think that this is a kind of we have to do this. So MobileFringe and the Canadian, which I love. So now they've also partnered with Retailigence. For mobile shopping.
So Retailigence is a company I love. I mean, these guys are based out in San Francisco area. They're all about data. This is a data company about understanding local store inventory data and tracking, purchase and redemption and all the other pieces that we keep talking about that are missing over and over again. So these guys have partnered with MobileFringe, basically to do exactly that, so that they can add on-site product search capabilities to these shopping mall applications that MobileFringe is building. So
this is a deal worth its weight. I mean, anybody working with Retailigence, I think, is key because of their breadth of product, their database product for location-aware deals. So I think that this is. Would MobileFringe be the first Canadian company, you think? Did they say anything about that being the first Canadian company?
No, I don't think so. I think these guys have been working with Canadian Tire and others.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
So yeah.
Well, I do like this kind of a deal, but really much more because Retailigence is, as you said, I mean, a big fan of Retailigence, of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to expiring inventory. I love the ability, the analytics and the knowledge that Retailigence has. Obviously, it's in their name, Retailigence. Retailigence. So big week for MobileFringe. Good Canadian company. I like to see these guys starting to take it a little bit more around the world, and we love it when Canadian companies do good. For story, let's talk about Glympse. Glympse and a good brand, slightly small, BMW.
BMW. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Glympse. We haven't talked about Glympse for a while. So this is one of those pioneering companies in location that I love because right from the beginning these guys understood privacy issues and concerns of consumers, and enabling consumers to share their location with lots of rigid controls over it. Only tell these people, not all my followers. Only tell them during this time frame. So I've always liked these guys from the beginning, and so the growth hasn't been probably as fast as they want. They're at about 1.5 million users, I understand. Now, but they announced this interesting partnership with BMW around the new BMW 1 Series, and what it is I call it localizing your Facebook likes. So I mean, we all have these these businesses. Lots of these businesses have big Facebook fan pages and investments in Facebook, and you got all these people that come and like you. But how do you actually monetize that? How do you actually turn that into something? And so what they've done here is they've said, look, you go to the BMW 1 Series page, you like them, you become a fan, and then you basically they connect you to test drives of this vehicle, and then they track where the vehicle is going in real time via Glympse. So, and then
So what do you mean? It's not like you're doing a test drive. It's like you're following somebody doing a test drive.
No, you can sign up to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and is this is not in North America though?
Yeah. So what happens is this is in Prague.
Okay.
So sorry, I should have been clear on this. This is in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you go to the Facebook page, you sign up, you like the page, and then you request that a car be sent out to you for a test drive.
Love it. It's like that to me is great. How many times can you do this? It's like it's the new black car.
Yeah, so you get this car out to you, and then the car has some integration with Glympse in it, and so that and then your test drive is kind of mapped, so to speak, or tracked via Glympse.
See, whatever it takes. I think that it's the throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks, right? And these kind of things. We're going to look back at wonder, some of these tests that we're doing in the location world. Mm-hmm. Did it work? Did it not work? But at least they're trying. And I think that it's is this, the only question I have to ask though is this easier than picking up the phone and calling somebody and saying I'd like a test drive? Or is this just a cooler way to do it?
I think it's just cooler. I think it's just cooler. I actually, I actually like this because I think it creates some connection between what you do online and what you can do in the physical world, and bringing that location together. And almost too, when you think about Facebook's repositioning, because I know this has nothing to do with Facebook as far as the announcement's concerned, but Facebook's one of the channels they're talking about in here.
Sure.
And we've talked about Facebook's, kind of repositioning of how they think about location.
Yes. Dial tone.
And it not being about places, but being about dial tone and being part of everything. I mean, this kind of fits right in with that. It's, yeah, you come here, you like this, you want to test drive a BMW, great. We send one out to you. It's integrated with Glympse. Your track, where you drive is tracked. We can see that in real time on a dynamic map. This is cool.
I love the inventiveness of this, and so this is only in Czechoslovakia, but I wonder if this is something that, they're testing to see if it could go anywhere else, if it could work anywhere else. And I wonder, as I said, could this be the new black car? I need a Beamer right now. Send it over here so I can do a test drive, but then drop me off over at this place, right? And But I'm sure there's a business model in here for other companies as well. So I think that we should probably take a closer look at what they're doing here, and maybe it's not just Glympse, but it's any other company leveraging Facebook as a location platform, obviously, and that's why this is such a good example. It's early, right?
It is early.
It takes me a little while to get the old mind flowing. 2 cups of coffee in. All right, now I'm on. Let's start over again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Wajam.
What am I doing here? I just woke up.
Okay.
Glympse, partnering with BMW in Prague. Go and take a look at it. At least it's worthwhile looking for ideas when it comes to these kind of things. How you integrate location directly into basically the bloodline of your product. So we'll see how this goes. Our fifth story, LocationLabs launches safely, and as a parent, you should listen to this.
Yeah, so LocationLabs, these guys have been around for a good while now, and they've kind of, they were trying to be all things to all people at one point, and then the last kind of year and a half, they kind of said, look, we're going to go after the personal safety aspects of, how you use location, somewhat like, what we heard from our friends here in Toronto at Gardley.
Yep.
Obviously these guys are competitors, but Safely is this new suite of services that is all about empowering parents to help them, find out what their kids are doing, where their kids are going. Not from a being an overseer perspective, but from a safety perspective. it's increasingly a challenging world to live in. We were talking about that earlier, and so this is cool. This is and apparently in the press release I was reading. This personal safety market, family safety market, it's a $23 billion market in the U.S.
It's crazy.
It's huge. It's huge. So there's 3 pieces to this. There's something called Safely Locate, which is all about, as the name implies, locating family members. Pretty straightforward. There's something called Safely Drive. So this is about preventing texting, while driving, and sort of sharing location, from that perspective, a la what Glympse does exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Locks it down.
Segue from the BMW discussion, and then something called Safely Social Monitor. And this is about parents monitoring their kids' activity on Facebook.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah.
So is that a natural? I guess it's a natural flow, but or is it? Everything's around location.
Yeah. Well, everything they do on Facebook is about location, right? Remember, according to Facebook. So, you post a photo, it's got a location. You update your status, you're doing it from a location. So I assume it's from that perspective, although it doesn't specifically say that.
Well, I wonder because there's a company that I reached out to, Life360. They're life360.com, and this I think this is going to become a crowded space. They call themselves the ultimate family safety device, and they turn your mobile into the ultimate family safety device, and this kind of business I think is going to be large because it's not just around protecting your kids and making sure that your kids are okay, and ultimately it's not spying on your kids, but it's like you're a parent. Like when you send them out into the real world, you're fearful, right? So it's a comfort zone. And my mother lived in Pakistan when there was a coup, when Musharraf took over in 1999 and 2000. And what ended up happening there was the same thing that you start to think about is that I wouldn't need to talk to her every day, but what I would need to do is just make sure that she was on instant messaging. I'd see her pop up, and I'd be okay.
Right.
Comfort. So that's the same thing that we're seeing here. And But Life 360 is, and these guys are the same thing, like LocationLabs. This business is going to be huge when you start to leverage location and put it around safety.
Yeah.
So this is, looking for an opportunity. This is one of those, hey, you found an opportunity. And that's just my sense on this.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So, those are the 5 stories. We got Reservation Genie acting a little bit more like Foursquare, getting into that business. Blackberry adding Wi-Fi based, location-based, or geo detection. MobileFringe launching push a deal and also getting into bed with Retailigence, which is great. We both love that. Glympse offering you some test drives of the BMW world in Czechoslovakia through Facebook. And LocationLabs launching safely, which we think is a great idea. 5 stories. Man.
5 stories.
5 stories. Big stories. All right, let's talk about quickly two funding deals. Let's get the small one out, but the small and significant to me because I love these guys. Moment Feed closing a little bit of money.
Yeah, Moment Feed. I mean, and this is a long time coming. I mean, these guys have been at it. We both love this company. Great little analytics software company for location-based tracking, location-based check-ins and other activities from Facebook and Foursquare and everywhere else. So they get 1.2 million from Rockfish Brand Ventures, which is the venture capital arm of Rockfish Interactive, which is a very, very successful digital agency with some big name clients like Walmart and Cisco and Tyson Foods and others. So this is a great play. To me, Moment Feed's one of those companies. They're one of a group, a very small group, I'll say at the moment, of solid location analytics companies, which obviously include ValueVine and GeoToco and others. But Rob Reed, who runs this company, he was at a conference with me in Boston the other week, and we were chatting. And number one, I'm glad these guys are part of the LBMA because I think they have a lot of value to bring. I think this deal gives them some nice stability to go out and grow their business. But I think the biggest part of this deal is the relationship that comes with Rockfish. Rockfish, as an agency, I said Walmart, Sam's Club. These guys are a big player in the kind of restaurant and retail business as an agency. P.F. Chang's, a number of people use these guys as an agency. So if they can bring, those relationships as well as so it's not just money, it's smart money, so to speak. I think it adds a lot of value.
Well, I mean, I did a session posted at September 15th with Rob Reed, and it was more like a fanboy episode than anything else. It's a deep conversation around how analytics and mobile measurement are so important and critical to the success and an ever-changing business landscape. So I'm really happy that these guys closed some cash, much needed. My feeling is that because there is just such a handful, there's a handful of these companies, as you mentioned them. This 1.2 million is a drop in the pan. These guys are, there's enough business for all 5 of these companies to go out and get big.
Yeah.
And that's the next phase. And I love guys that are just, hey, 6 billion devices, location everywhere, ubiquity, all this kind of stuff. And somebody's going to have to measure that. And so 1.2 million is a good start, not nearly enough. And really happy for Rob and his team over at Moment Feed. Good job.
It would also be interesting to see, what they actually do in terms of, product enhancements or, additional feature functionality. I mean, haven't said much about that, but, this is obvious. This is about relationships and, deal partnerships to me.
It's like, I think it's, I liken it to the way that Facebook or Foursquare or Twitter started their companies, is that they don't offer too much at the beginning. They get people engaged and using. And measurement to me is like that. You can make it very complex, or you can or you start by just by just tracking, and then you start to add complexity, and hopefully you do it right, and people still engage and use it. But I think that there's so much that you can do with analytics and tracking the location that to overwhelm at the beginning would be detrimental to the adoption of that technology. So. Just like Twitter, started off as a what am I having for breakfast, and now it's become an essential tool in business. And just like Facebook, when they started, now it's completely different from where it started, right? And the evolution has happened, but gradually. Once a year, they're pretty much changing the game. So that's great. Good for Rob and his team at MobileFringe, 1.2 million. So from what would you do with 50 times that much money?
Retired. No.
Exactly. It's like I take it and go.
Anyways, yeah.
Second
GrubHub.
deal, right? GrubHub. What is this? Their Series X. $50 million.
Series E. So GrubHub, if you're not familiar with it, it's an online mobile food delivery service, and so I mean, $50 million. Part of this is they acquired two companies in the process of this. They acquired something called CampusFood.com and AllMenus.com. Both were part of something called .menu. So they get those two companies, they mash that all up. They're now, from what I've read anyways, the largest restaurant menu listings service in the country. This is the U.S. 250,000 menus, 50 major cities, college towns. Hey, speaking of that, maybe there's an interesting relationship between these guys and MobileFringe.
No kidding.
Or You Promise even. Anyways, we'll let them figure that out. So we'll see. I mean, this is a big whack of money. Maybe it means more acquisitions yet to come. I'm sure there's a couple other small players out there that they've got their eyes on. It does mean that they're going to focus on furthering the mobile application piece, from what I've read. And because I don't see anything in here in terms of deals, rewards, offers, OpenTable, Reservation Genie functionality. So they probably have got their eyes on something like that.
Yeah, and what they're talking, I mean, we joke about this amount of money because I think they've raised somewhere in the realm of $84 million or something like that. And but to your point, they have 13,000 restaurants. 5,000 restaurants are actually paying them, and their revenues last year were $30 million, up from 8.5. So this is not a this isn't like a color, investment.
No. This is a well-established company with some pedigree, and what scares me though is some of these, like, Matt Maloney, who runs this thing, is talking about going public as well, soon. So we'll see. I'm not sure they need to do that, but
30 million in revenue. I mean, I think that used to be the bar, right? It was 30 million in revenue, as long as it's profitable revenue and it can sustain it. But these guys are the real deal, and I think that they are missing that mobile play. So $50 million. I mean, Flipboard got $50 million just to enhance their product. So I'm pretty sure that that these guys could take that money and turn it into a good good mobile play. And there's there's Blue Shoe Mobile, which does the same thing. It's a software as a service play for companies to get their menu and ordering on a mobile device in a customized app, a white label app. So there is a market for this, and especially with their reach, it just seems like a no-brainer. Revenue-wise, my guess is that these guys, they don't charge the consumer, right? So they charge the restaurant.
No, they charge the merchant, the restaurant.
Yeah, and it's like a commission. So no harm, no foul, right? If it's not working for you, you don't pay anybody. If it is working for you, then you pay a percentage of the transaction, of the total bill order. And then if you want to do a white label deal, you pay them for that. So it's a pretty simplified business model, and that's what it is. This is scale, right? 13,000 restaurants. 13,000 restaurant menus are currently online. That's pretty insane. So 50 million, I still think that's an incredibly ridiculous amount of money.
Hey, like I said, hopefully some of these guys are cashing out and retiring or moving on.
What did you start with 50 million? 50 restaurants, right? Anyway, I mean that's a lot of money. I mean, take it. I keep saying this: is that if you're an entrepreneur and the terms are right, take as much as you can now, because there's a cliff coming.
Anyway, so that's GrubHub.
MobileFringe 1.2, GrubHub 50. Total investment $51.2 million. I like it. All right, let's jump into our product, and then let's wrap up with our resource. The product of the week, you've mentioned this in previous podcasts earlier on. It's called Geomium.
Geomium. So these guys are out of the UK. They're another kind of startup that's trying to play in the, I'll call it local search, discovery business. So similar to kind of where came out of. The difference here is that they're kind of sucking data in from some pretty rich sources right off the bat. So they've got Yelp data and Kite data, which is Yelp for London. They've also got data coming in from something called Eventful, which is like an online event finder that's based over there as well. So this is all about finding things that you want to do around you, which is not a new concept at all. It's an iPhone app coming soon to Android and Blackberry as well, and Nokia, I understand. They're launching strictly in London for now, but plan to roll this out to a bunch of other cities. We'll see where it goes. But what I like about it is the rich partnerships that they've got on the data side. So they have strong feeds coming in here.
Yeah, and they're basically they're connecting you with other people that you might know about places that you want to find, or you want to discover, events that you're at or should be at, and also deals. So it's like it's the Uber app for discovery, and there's always room for these guys, but this is one of those things that you got to be looking at this like either Facebook or Foursquare. Somebody's going to pick these guys up, or even GrubHub, because it's a local play. It's one thing to start these things, and I love the fact that this is happening, but it's another thing to scale the size that it needs to be outside of the locale, like outside of London.
Right.
But this approach that I've seen so many times, which is great, which is let's get this thing done locally first in a high concentration area where there's lots of people that could use this. So perfect example.
I mean, no different than how Scavenger, and Level Up try everything in Boston and see where it goes, right? So.
And New York, same thing. You see this a lot in New York startups. I ask them why all the time, and here's the hint: is that they say, well, high concentration.
Yeah.
High concentration. It's why it works so well in San Francisco. And it's why it works in New York and in London, because there's a whole bunch of people, right? So that's great. So it's Geomium, GeoMium.com. Go check them out, or download it on iTunes if you're in London. If you're not, well, wait till it expands beyond that. And maybe Asif, when you're there next Thursday, you can I'm
gonna give it a shot. So
see what you find. You might find a curry house. Okay, last thing. Then we're jetting off. Our resource of the week, Pew Research infographic, which is around the what are we calling this thing? Every move you make.
It's called Every Move You Make.
Location-based social media services on the rise. It's an infographic, and
I'm thinking police now.
What's that?
It's got me thinking about the police. Sorry.
I know. It's exactly that.
Every breath you take. No, okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, it's not karaoke time.
No. We could do that though. It is early enough. So this is an interesting thing. I don't know how to read this. Other than, was there anything that stuck out for you on this? Because lots stuck out. It's like old people use this.
Yeah, I was a little shocked at the numbers. I mean, and on a number of fronts. I mean, they had the one number there right off the top that said 65% of U.S. adults use social media in their everyday life, and then 14% of those people automatically update their Facebook and Twitter posts with location. And I was actually surprised that number was so low. 14%. I expected it to be a little bit higher. And the men women thing, wasn't too surprised about that. 19% of men,
10% of women.
10% of women. Okay, again, I sort of expected those numbers to be a little bit higher. But yeah, I think you were talking about the age piece.
Yeah, like so that's 43% are 30 and older, with 13% of usage being 65 plus. That's a number that I can't wrap my head around. Like my father's 72 this year, and he's not using location, right? He's just not.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are.
No, I've never met a single 65-year-old and older who is actually using location. So do they lump GPS into that? Because
yes.
I mean, as I age, I mean, the first thing to go is directions. Thank God I have them in my phone. But that number I don't believe. Flat out, don't believe.
Well, it says GPS tracking with social media. So
Yeah,
I have no idea what that is. I mean, is that like 65 plus year olds are sharing their location on their Facebook posts?
Well, maybe inadvertently.
I guess that's what that is.
Like it's like they haven't turned it off because maybe it's on by default.
Yeah, it must be. Like, I mean, because I don't. This isn't 65-year-olds using Foursquare.
No. Because I'd love to know what their demographics are, but that was the age thing was staggering, and even having 29% over 50, I think is a challenge. So
anyhow, an interesting infographic. Well presented. I love these infographics.
Beautiful.
So we'll post that and take a look.
Yeah, definitely. It's a we'll definitely throw it up there. So I mean, just click on it, and if you have any observations about it, I mean, there's many conclusions you can draw from this data, and I don't know if I would base everything on it because of some of the education levels and the ethnicity of people using these things. It's a little dicey, but I love your opinion or your thoughts on it because it's a I would say that this is one of the more controversial infographics around location. So let's start the discussion.
Right.
But that's it. So it's the Pew. This is done by Pew. Every move you make, location-based social media services on the rise. That's the infographic. We'll include it up there. If you're listening to this, just do a Google search for Pew and every move you make. And I'm pretty sure you'll either come up with a police, a thief singing, or the infographic. Yeah. So that's it. Big week, obviously. Reservation Genie and Foursquare doing Foursquare stuff. Blackberry adds Wi-Fi based, location based or geo detection. MobileFringe launching Push a Deal and solidifying their Retailigence partnership. Glympse and BMW. LocationLabs launches safely, and we've got Moment Feed raising 1.2. We've got GrubHub raising 50. Our product of the week was Geomium, and our resource of the week was Pew's research infographic on every move you make. And that's it.
That's it.
Episode number 44. We are back. You're back next. When are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I come back late Friday.
So episode 45 will not be first thing before the sun rises on a Sunday morning. So it might actually be a good episode.
Yeah.
Right? We might be awake.
This wasn't so bad.
Any of this.
We made it happen.
We made it happen. Enough coffee, but I don't remember a single thing, which is the best way to do these things. Hopefully it doesn't sound so bad.
All right.
So, listen, we really appreciate you guys. We'll be back here for episode number 45. Appreciate you guys sticking around, listening, watching, wherever you may be. It's a great pleasure to do this every week with Asif, and it makes it even better when Asif gets swag and I don't. Right?
Hey.
How does that happen?
Give him some love. I don't know. Hey.
What jam? We'll finish that. Asif, safe travels. I'd love to hear how things are going during the week while you are doing this in Amsterdam and London. And we'll do a wrap next Sunday in episode number 45.
Okay.
Safe travels. Thanks for everybody. We
Cheers.
appreciate you watching. Thanks. We'll see you next time on This Week in Location-Based Marketing.